is directed by Christopher Nolan and stars Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, and holy shit, a bunch more. And this film follows the story of the American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in development in creating the atomic bomb. So let's get this straight out there. So I went tonight, which is Thursday, at 5 p.m. to go see this film in IMAX. Now, we don't have in my location IMAX 70 millimeter. We have LIMAX, I call it. It's still big screen, awesome sound, but it's not the 70 millimeter that Nolan was telling everybody to go out there and see. Unfortunately, we got through 2 hours and 40 minutes of the film, and it ended up cutting out because the weather. So it was a very rough half hour to get the film back up and running. Once they did, I'm not blaming the theater, it's not their fault, it's the weather, it's nature, but once they did, it was kind of out of focus here and there. But besides all that, guys, that was the annoying part of the fucking night. I will say Oppenheimer is, though, truly remarkable. There's so much that I want to talk about with this film that we will go into spoilers. I'll leave the icon up at the top, but I want to get into some of the things that I really liked. Without spoiling the film, let's get into the cast. Cillian Murphy is phenomenal in this film. I'm so glad Christopher Nolan gave him a lead role. Finally, it only took him about 20 years, 10 years, but honestly 20 years probably. He is phenomenal as J. Robert Oppenheimer, and his character is beautiful. Robert Downey Jr. is also a standout in this film. I have to say that I really hope Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. both get Best Actor nominations or Best Supporting Actor nominations. They deserve it in this film. With a great supporting cast: Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, Matt Damon. People that you wouldn't even expect to show up in this film, and they are phenomenal. They elevate their scenes. As for the story of this film, I have to say it is remarkable. Christopher Nolan did a phenomenal job with the pacing of a film being 3 hours. You go into this film, and a lot of people don't understand, they have to go into this film not expecting an action movie. This is not an action movie. It's a drama about history and the events, the way that Nolan handles suspense in this film, so many themes that I want to get into within spoilers. He does a phenomenal job. The score is also done by Ludwig Göransson. This is his second Christopher Nolan film. He composed Tenet as well. He did a great job with the score. This film also has beautiful emotion attached to it. There's so much that I want to talk about that we're going to hold for spoilers, but the practical effects in this film are remarkable. You're going to hear me use that word remarkable tons of times. But bottom line is, guys, I have to give my rating for Oppenheimer right now. I want to talk a lot about the technical and the practical aspects that involve the Trinity test that I don't want to really spoil for you guys, and a couple things that Nolan does in the film that are really cool. But overall, guys, I'm so happy to say this. Oppenheimer is a 10 out of 10, and it is truly remarkable. All right, guys, we are in the spoiler section, all right? And there's a lot of aspects that I want to talk about. Let's kick off the Trinity test. The amount of suspense that was built up in this film to the Trinity test was wow. I didn't even expect them to do the Trinity test this way. I thought they was very subtle and then got very loud at the end, but blowing off a real bomb, so to speak, a practical bomb, Jesus Christ, it looked beautiful on screen. It really did. As messed up as that sounds. But what I really always respected about Nolan is his practicality in all of his films. Maybe not really much in Interstellar, but the practicality, any way that he can use practical effects, that's what he does. And every sequence in this film, he claims, is practically done. And I want to know if that's also about the landscapes, like the weather aspects in the film, if that's all practical as well. I'd like to know if that's what he's talking about. If it is, that's 2 thumbs up for him. But I have to say, though, I cannot stress about this enough. This film is just beautiful to look. I forgot he has a new cinematographer that's been working with him since Dunkirk, I believe, on all the cinematography, and this guy is phenomenal. I forgot his name. He did this film, he did Tenet and Dunkirk. I just forgot his name. It'll come to me after this review is done. But let's talk about something that nobody's probably brought up. The trailers and the marketing for this movie are great. I have no complaints about it. There are 2 trailers that came out, basically, that did not spoil a fucking thing. And I mean, obviously, this is history, but the Trinity test, the bomb. Nolan, I gotta give it to the marketing team for Oppenheimer. The way that they sprinkled the breadcrumbs of the Trinity test throughout the trailer, but very, 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 very subtle, thumbs up for that. And some other things that you don't show in the trailers. That's what a movie trailer is supposed to do. There's a movie trailer out there for Gran Turismo. I do not want to see this movie. I have no interest. But I feel like I watched the whole movie through the trailer already. So there's no use for it. But the way that they handle trailers in this film, I'm sure Nolan has a lot of say in what he wants to put in his trailers. And fuck, the trailers for this film were phenomenal. And what comes with that? A great fucking movie. Thank God. But let's talk about dialogue sequences in this film. So there's been a running gag since Tenet that Nolan prefers audio over dialogue as an artistic choice. Does the score music get loud at times where you can't hear the dialogue in this film? Here and there, not too bad, actually, as bad as Tenet, but overall, everything I could understand. But the way that Nolan writes dialogue that makes these sequences with all these tremendous actors, whether it's Rami Malek, Gary Oldman playing Truman, or if it's fucking Robert Downey Jr. with Cillian Murphy going back and forth as Louis Strauss and Oppenheimer, the way that the dialogue is written is so immersible. Let's talk about the black and white sequences versus the color sequences. This is a running thing that Nolan did with Memento. If you guys ever seen that movie, it's a phenomenal movie directed by Nolan as well. But there's sequences in the film that take place in color and black and white. And they're supposed to be out of order to screw with the audience in a way to figure out what is the timeline, right? Nolan takes it back to Memento in this film and uses black and white sequences that end up matching up with the timeline, which I thought was really cool and clever. And it was a big throwback to Memento. If you're a Nolan fan, you guys know what I'm talking about. But just seeing the IMAX sequences in black and white, this film you need to see in IMAX at least once. It is worth it. It is beautiful to watch on that screen. It really was. In the sound, everything was just, it was great. I was lucky too. I was with a great audience too. I'm going to be going to see it tomorrow night as well. I'm very excited to see it. I remember before the bomb actually dropped in the Trinity test, the amount of suspense that I got, and I saw people next to me, I was literally like shaking, nervous. It kept me on the edge of the seat. And then the whole repercussions after that, wow, that was crazy. It blows my mind that this is part of history. And then what I love about Nolan is he asks the audience a question. At the end of the film, it really shows that Oppenheimer thinks to himself that, did I just screw up humanity and basically doom us? And it's something that really is relatable to today's world with our military, with so many nukes, so many missiles, all this stuff that can kill and destroy each other. And Oppenheimer is at the center of it because he thinks to himself that he did this. He started it all, and now he could possibly end the human race. It's a weird type of horror effect that I heard going into the film, and it is weird because you walk out of the film and you think, fuck, this could happen. This really could. Like, this can go to this route if they wanted to. And it's scary. It really is. But guys, I could sit here hours on end talking about Oppenheimer, the technical geeking out, the technical aspects of the film, the great acting and all that stuff. But you guys obviously already know that if you're in the spoiler section and you've seen it. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on Oppenheimer. Did you guys enjoy it as much as me? And honestly, where does it rank with you guys with Nolan films? I'm not going to do a ranking yet, maybe down the road. But I do want to say, guys, this is my final video for a little bit. I'm going to be taking a nice break through probably August-ish. I'll come back for some more reviews, but I really want to be focusing on my screenwriting and stuff like that for new short films that I want to do. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.